Where to begin? I'm turning this down a bit. Happy full moon in Cancer. Back to my natural hair. Nurturing it a little bit. Taking care of me so I can take care of my family. Caring about motherhood. Mothering and being mothered. And working on these emotions. But of course, there's other aspects. Jupiter in Aries, Saturn in Aquarius going in retrograde. Neptune just went into retrograde in Pisces, which is now, in the past, I used to think it was even crazier, but it's a little bit better. Reviewing the illusions. That's what Neptune in retrograde is about. Pluto in Capricorn. The sun in Cancer, because the moon is in Cancer, and that's why we have the new moon. The new moon means you set new intentions for new energy to come into you, and you set goals that you will achieve by 6 months from now, when the Capricorn new moon is here in the winter. My moon is in Capricorn. What's your moon in? The moon actually is ruled by Cancer, so the sun is being ruled by the moon right now. The moon is at home. Those are the only things that are in Cancer right now. But if you have anything in Cancer, the moon is ruling it right now. So the moon rules how we react to things and our emotions. Are y'all noticing the heavy emotions going on as America comes up to another year of existence? America is 246 years old as of this Monday coming up. Today is Monday. Next Monday. We have between now and 4 more years that our empire, our United States, is going to be changing drastically. Every empire only lasts for 250 years or less, between 245 and 250, which is why we had the Pluto return. And the Pluto return began the breakdown of corporations, the breakdown of monies, the breakdown of the government, the breakdown of masculine energy. Because Pluto is in Capricorn, it is opposing everything in Cancer. It is opposing the moon and our emotions. It is opposing us women right now with this whole Roe versus Wade thing. Anything to divide anyone, any label, any race, any ethnicity, sex, religion, you name it, political party, no gender, genders, division all the way. So when we say that there's no going back to yesterday, there's no going back. You can't do things the same way you have been doing them. It's just not working anymore. Name a time in 2022 that you've been able to do things like you did back in the 90s or the 80s or the 60s or the 50s. And speaking of that, and the Pluto return being mainly about the government, and you seeing the breakdown of things, you see, or you may not notice, which Neptune in retrograde will help you notice. You when you do notice the other things that are going on, other than the distractions of the 245 years, the distraction of race, the distraction of sex and gender, the distraction of needing rights, the distractions of giving rights to others, but not to those promised for 245 years. The pointing fingers at one man, Trump, and not pointing fingers at the whole agenda. That's not controlled by any race. It's controlled by 1% of the population that controls the whole 99%. Unless you don't let it control you. I'm a firm believer of detachment. Detaching from things is that Saturn in Aquarius, and Saturn representing the old world. In Aquarius in retrograde, rethinking the old things, the old ways. Saturn is also the ruler of Capricorn. Okay. Capricorn and Aquarius are ruled by Saturn. So if you know any Capricorns or any Aquarius sun sign people, you might notice that they're a little nonchalant, a little unbothered. Saturn is serious. Saturn is about business. It's about its money. It's about responsibilities. Very nonchalant, very unbothered, masculine, strong, tough energy. Tough love kind of energy. Because remember, Capricorn rules masculine energy and Cancer or represents feminine energy. Cancer mother, Capricorn father. So there is some love there. But with Capricorn energy is tough love, where Cancer energy is nurturing love. But they can be the same or different because they are opposing signs. I'm saying all this because the moon is in Cancer, so we have to talk about its opposing sign, Capricorn. And by the time the moon is getting ready to move into Leo, it'll be opposing Pluto, because Pluto is in Capricorn. Even though it's in retrograde, it's still in the final degrees. So when the moon's in its final degrees, they'll create an opposition there. So expect this tomorrow. What's going down tomorrow? After we've already had a fun-filled Friday with the man on the bridge in D.C. doing his protesting from the top of the bridge on South Capitol Street. We had the protests going on down at the courthouse in Southeast Washington, D.C., Capitol Hill area. Therefore, that began this new Cancer moon energy on Friday, technically. That was Gemini moon. Lots of information came in. It was actually the Taurus moon too, the void point, like the end of the Taurus moon. Taurus moon is where the moon is in its highest point, its escalated point, its best emotions come from it. So this was not a bad thing. Let me tell you why. This is going to fix relationships, whether you want to believe it now or see it now or not. Don't think they're stopping at just that. There's going to be a lot of things that have in the past been okay, but they're just not okay anymore. And I'm okay with it, the government coming down on this, even though I don't rock with the government. Because as the more they put in law some things that need to be put in law, like gun rights, like the rainbow people that don't create, and the people that don't want to create, so now they need to be more responsible. There's Saturn and Aquarius. Be more responsible. That's why I say all these, even though we're going through the new moon right now, the moon is our emotion, so it affects all the other placements and planets and aspects going on. So, speaking of aspects today, or this evening, we have all those squares on top of the conjunction with the moon and the sun. Conjunctions is blended energy, so we're getting that nurturing, emotional, overall energy from the sun, and emotions and reactions from the moon being conjunct the sun in the sign of Cancer. Then we have Mars and Mercury. So I was right. Mercury's still in Gemini, moving into Taurus shortly. Venus is in Gemini, just left Taurus. Mars is at the tail end of Aries, getting ready to go into Taurus. And Jupiter's in Aries. So The sun and the moon, because they're in Cancer, they're squaring the other cardinal sign, Jupiter in Aries. Jupiter in Aries is bringing exaggerated, sometimes abundant, rewarding, expanding kind of energy to whatever the sun and the moon is doing. So it could be expanding your emotions. It could be overall making you feel, because Jupiter also represents is the old ruler of Pisces, so it could be a little illusion, could be a little exaggerated energy, definitely exaggerated emotions with people doing the things that they're doing because of Roe versus Wade, like the guy on the bridge. So then we have the things that are sextiling. Sextiling is good energy. It's like that helping hand energy, and Venus sextiling Jupiter is a better place for Jupiter, because Venus is the planet of love and beauty and values and finance, and Jupiter can expand better on that. Venus being in Gemini, plane of communication, Jupiter is expanding, and then by Jupiter being Aries, it's like, you know, that aggressive energy. So Jupiter is helping expand the aggressive energy of people's finances. What I want to say is, there's a rumor going around now. There's always rumors going around. There's been rumors going around since 2020 that there's some things that are going to pop off tomorrow all the way through October, especially on July the 4th. I don't know what to believe, but I do know things have already been popping off in these last 2 years the way DJT said they would. I know that we have a lot of division based on beliefs. Jupiter is that belief planet. Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. It is that higher thinking. It is that spirituality even. It is the religious part. And all those things are being transformed. And Jupiter is actually going to go in its retrograde soon too. It's a lot. One last thing I want to say, because I'm going to kind of wrap this up and not make it too long. The division, I believe, will be more visible and wanting to be healed with Neptune being in Pisces in retrograde. Let me tell you why. Because Pisces is at home in Neptune. In retrograde, the illusions are being reviewed. Okay, like this, for example, this is us going back and saying, hey, you know what? Maybe it's not a good idea to have an abortion. Maybe I do need to work things out with the father of my children. Maybe he needs healing and I need healing. Maybe our emotions got to the best of us and we need to set aside our pride and move towards financially being free as a couple is more than waiting on the government to give you a little bit here and a little bit there because you're a single person, a single parent. Now, that's real talk. Waiting on religious characters to do something for you is not where it's at anymore. And you'll see more of that in the Jupiter retrograde. I gotta remember the Jupiter retrograde time. I can't even remember, but I know it's coming up. I don't know if it's July or August. Jupiter is going to take more action in Aries on a lot of your beliefs. Okay, because remember, Jupiter, again, is the planet of not just exaggeration and expansion and abundance, but it's also the planet of beliefs, religion, spirituality, and global travel, higher thinking, not going to like higher level school. That's the old Jupiter. That's Jupiter's in its new energy because it just started over its cycle because it's in Aries, and Jupiter stays in the sign for about a year. And whatever is being learned from Saturn, Jupiter will reward you. If you need more on any of this that I just said, please say something in the comments. Please like, share, subscribe, and tell me how I'm doing. TMZ. Again, happy new moon in Cancer. Set your intentions, write them down, read them out loud, You can burn them, you can fold them up and read them 6 months to see where you progressed. And then take action with Jupiter and Aries.